It's Don here from the board. Thanks for coming along and checking out this video. So, it's been a very long time coming, but I finally have my box pinks. The journey has been a very long wait. We're talking 6 months or so to actually get these in through my local distributor or seller of these. So thank you very much, Fatty from Daily Clack. I really appreciate your patience with me in actually making these happen and getting these through Novelkeys to us in Australia. So let's not waste too much more time and check out what's actually happening with box pinks. So what I've got here in front of me is just a bit of a rudimentary setup of some kind, and I'll get to that very shortly. But box pinks are a Kailh cross Novelkeys switch, I think, and it's meant to be a medium click bar. So it's a medium weight, medium click bar, and as I hold one of them up to the microphone, you can hear it doing its thing. Now, very much like the rest of the box switch series, the click bar essentially is like a bit of metal that has some tension on it, and as the stem goes down, it pushes it and it slides off the actual stem. There's like a little ramp on it, and then it flicks up and contacts part of the actual housing, which is what makes its distinctive click. So the click bar series in Kailh switches, and the focus is not doing so well right now here, is that we've got standard click bar and we've got thicker click bars leading up to the box pinks. And what I've got here in this very simple switch plate holder thing is these are box whites, which have the standard click bar. This is pale blues, which has the thicker click bar, but the same. No, the pale blues have the heavier spring, but the same click bar. The jades have the same springs as the whites with a thick click bar, and the navies have the same heavier spring as the pale blues with the thick click bar. So where the box pinks will live is in the middle of that range. So in terms of diagrammatically speaking, this is kind of where you would expect that series to sit as a explanation of the different box switches. Now the reason why I've got this set up here on my grain scales is a little bit of very rudimentary keyboard science. I don't have a high-end expensive setup to show force curves and all that kind of stuff, but what I wanted to do as a way of trying to show how the actual weight variance is and what happens when you've got the different click bars is we're just going to use the scales. Noting that the setup is very simple. It's just a couple of boxes so I can get the height so you can see the display. It's just grain scales, and the force that I'm applying with my finger through the switch to make it activate is essentially going to be registered on the scale. That's pretty much how those force curves are generated, but the machines are a lot more sensitive and they move much slower, and the actual logging of the data is more accurate, and so on and so forth. And you'll see what I mean, because it's kind of a little bit finicky to do it this way, but it's still a method to the madness. So let's turn the scales on. I kind of tried to get it angled so you can actually see the numbers. It's a bit faint. Oh, that's tipping, literally tipping the scales. Okay, so right now you'll see it's 0, 0 because it's tared to this whole lot. So if we start with the box whites and I give them a bit of a depress very slowly, you'll see it's loading up 30, 40, 45, and then somewhere between sort of 47 grams to, there we go, about 50-ish, 52 grams is sort of when it goes off. 53 grams. So if I very carefully, very gently, actually, I'm just going to try and move my microphone so it picks up a bit more of the actual click. So it's under 55 grams is what I'm thinking it's at. Now, if I move from the same spring to the thicker click bar, which is the box jades, and repeat that, 0.2 of a gram is not that big of an issue right now. So you'll see it's loading up to 70 odd grams. About 73, almost 74. Yeah, about 70, 74, 75, 74, just on 75 grams. And so the extra thickness of that bar is requiring more force to get that stem past it for it to collapse and click. Now if we go to the heavier spring with the lighter, with the standard click bar, so we're going this way, then we can have a look at how much force loading is required. So about 70 at the moment. Once again, slowly. So it's reading about 70 with the heavier springs, but the thin click bar. And if we go to the box navy, which is the heavy spring with the thick click bar, it's about 100 grams. 96, 103, 109, 110 grams. About 110 grams of force is required to make it click. Now this is really important that we need to distinguish between click and actuation, because actuation can actually happen before the click does. And I don't have a setup here, I don't have an oscilloscope or anything like that to show the actuation happening, but I'm only gauging against the force to make the actual click, because there's no point talking about actuation force required if you're investing in clicky switches because you want to be feeling and hearing the click, right? So you're going to punch through that actuation point anyway because you want to be experiencing that click. Now, noting that we're talking about sort of 75-ish, 70-ish, 110-ish, and then what was this one again? This was sort of around the 50 mark. Then the medium click bar and medium weight spring should probably sit around, I would say, anywhere between 60 to 80 is what I would expect it to be. I haven't actually done this, so to be honest, I actually have no idea what kind of weight value I'm going to experience here. So we're at 50, oh, about 65. Yeah, about 65. 68. 67. Okay, so actually it's lower than the thick click bar on the jades and on the heavier spring of the pale blues, which kind of makes sense because it's not as thick a bar and it's a heavier spring compared to the whites, which is sitting around a 50, but a lighter spring compared to the pale blues. So about a 65 gram, about 65 grams, really more than 60 because I've gone straight through 60 into sort of that 65 region. Yeah, about 65 grams to get the click happening, which is not the same as actuation. I want to make that very clear. We're not talking about actuation force. I'm only talking about the force to make the click. So that's a good gauge in a very rough and simple manner on what you could expect out of these these box pinks. I'm just gonna not have stuff all over. Okay. Now, of course, the important thing is really what does it sound like by comparison when you're actually spamming it. And let's try and get some focus happening. There we go. So we'll do some side-by-side comparisons of sound without a keycap, and then I'll put a keycap on each of those and we'll go through it again. So we'll go whites, then we'll go pale blues, then we can go, well, how about we go white, pink, pale blue, pink, jade, pink, navy, pink. All right, so that way you'll always get that pink in between, and I'll just do a bit of slow and light and hard and fast as well. Well, there's really no way to be able to see these switches while the microphone's down this way anyway. So whites, pinks, pale blue, pinks, jades, pinks, and navies, and then pinks again. All right, so just from that, I can say that the actual pinks is a lot more muted than any of those other colors, which I think is really interesting. It's really quite interesting, and it does make for a very pleasant muted sound. So I'm going to put that DSA keycap on top. There we go. We'll put one on there. Put one on there. Now, these 4 switches here are actually all box crackers. Cap crackers, sorry. Box switches, because they're old stock. But I believe that the box pink should not be. Not that it matters anyway with these. So let's go again, but with keycaps on this time. So with whites, pinks, pale blue, pinks, jades, pinks, and navies, and lastly pinks again. Wow, so it is actually quite contrasting in between the thick and the pinks. I feel that the thinner click bar of the white pale blue is a lot closer in the sound and response than the thick click bars. The thick click bars have a much sharper response in terms of the response, and the pinks just have that softer ending to it. So yeah, that's really, really cool. That was quite tight, but not experiencing really any cap breaking there. You want Daddy to put that together for you? Alright. While Daddy puts that together, don't eat that. It's dirty. Do you want to try this and tell Daddy which one you like out of all of the colors? Yeah? Okay. You try that. You press them. Do you like that one? How about you try the other ones together as well? You're going to try all 5 of them? One more. Do you still only like the pink ones? Really? Why do you like the pink ones? Because you like the pink ones. Is it just because of the color? Okay. There you go. Well, there you have it. From a 3.5-year-old, pinks are better because of the color. What can you do? What can you do? All right, there it is. Box pinks, really exciting. I can't wait to put them in. I'm going to be sinking this packet of box pinks into the down bubble, and should be an interesting experience. I'll take that keyboard to work and annoy the heck out of everybody at work with a clicky keyboard. But hopefully with the box pinks, if I put some O-rings on, and I've also got some SA keycaps on it, it might actually mute that down quite a bit. We'll just have to see how it goes. Otherwise, I'll have to desolder them and put some other kind of switch into them. So thank you very much for checking out this video. If you got any questions or if you got any comments in regards to the switches, or you want different sound samples and things like that, please let me know, and I'll be happy to do something else different with them and put it up for everyone to enjoy. So don't forget, we have a podcast that we try to do weekly. You can find the links and descriptions below, and of course hit that like button, hit that share button, and of course that subscribe button as well. So thanks for checking out the video, and of course, as usual, until next time, happy clacking.